This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, Grand Bahama has lost a major player in the tourism mix. Yesterday, veteran tour operator and tourism planner Lydia Saunders was killed in a car crash in Freeport. The businesswoman gained a reputation over the years for her focus on the development of tours to Grand Bahama. Tonight, a colleague who worked closely with her over the past decade is reflecting on her contributions to the tourism sector. Lydia Saunders came to the Bahamas from Italy back in the early 1960s and worked in the tourism industry before establishing Best Island Travel and Tours.
Lydia represented Europeans, Australians, South Americans, and North Americans. She traveled to many conferences, tourism conferences. Many times she's the only person from the Bahamas at these conferences, many times. And she had a place in her heart for tourism in this country.
Talmadge Pinder worked with Lydia for more than 10 years as a transportation provider. He says Lydia not only promoted the destination on a wide scale, she also had a passion for the tourism industry.
She is annoyed at anybody who do anything wrong to the tourists. If you give bad service or anything negative toward the tourist community, or she gets upset. She's in the office at night until midnight, on emails and connecting. She was a hard worker.
Lydia died in a car accident on Wednesday at the age of 78. Talmadge says he was shocked and saddened by the tragic news.
I couldn't believe it because Lydia, she's a, we call her Iron Lady because she's had several accidents really in the past, but this, I didn't expect to hear Lydia was dead. She has an accident, she get up and she walk away. But this time, she didn't make it.
He talks about the woman he knew.
She's a soft-hearted lady. She would carry on a lot, and she would rout the world, but she have a very soft heart. She would do anything for you.
The veteran tour operator was driving a Honda Accord along Seahorse Road around noon yesterday when she crashed into a tree. She died a short time later. In light of this tragic accident, the Assistant Commissioner of Police on Grand Bahama, Emmerich Seymour, is advising road users to exercise additional care while on the streets.
Problems we've seen is an escalation in the amount of traffic accidents on the streets of Grand Bahama. And that has been a concern of ours in the police department. As a result of that, we would have launched an initiative on behalf of traffic, where they all then, in terms of sensitizing members of the motoring public, slow down, buckle up, because one of the things we just had recently, just today, as a matter of fact, a fatality. We don't know yet the cause of that particular fatality. However, we wish to advise members of the motoring public to please pay attention to and observe all speed and, of course, traffic regulations on the streets.
Another family is trying to come to terms with tragedy after yesterday's painful discovery of the lifeless body of their loved one. Tonight, they are looking to the community to help them through this difficult time. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
A flag outside Frank Pearson's home flying at half-mast Thursday, one day after officials discovered his lifeless body not far from his home. This was quite a contrast to the day before, when friends, church, and family members, along with top police officials on Grand Bahama, gathered as a show of support.
Coming here today is a tremendous support for Yvonne and for the family. This is a very, very difficult time for her. She's had to deal with so much within the last year and a half, 2 years. It's almost like a biblical story of Job.
Many were baffled over the fact that after 2 days of a massive search over the vast Pine Bay area, that his body was found so close to home, only 7 light poles away from the Pearson's residence, to be exact.
We feel it daily. He's been a member of the force for a number of years. He's well known, not only in the police organization, but within the general community. And for that reason, we felt that it was incumbent upon us to really push forward, and we were determined not to leave until we found him.
The tragic death of Frank Pearson has left more questions than answers. Questions like how long was his body here, found near the canal over the Casuarina Bridge, and then the haunting question of could his death have been avoided if he had only gotten the help he so desperately needed.
It's challenging really to find persons who would just sit and listen and just to hear you out. It's unfortunate that, as I understand it as well, he didn't get the kind of immediate help that he had been looking for. I know on a few occasions I've spoken with him by phone and in person, trying to encourage him and to motivate him, that life continues and that God is able to do all things.
You learn how serious depression is, and sometimes, we take it lightly. We say we are depressed, but depression is a real medical condition.
People going through situations and circumstances, and the onus is on us, the professional people or whomever. If someone is reaching out to you, and I think the onus is on them to really try get them the necessary assistance and support they need, because we don't know, maybe had he gotten that support that he would request, the circumstances they would have been different. And so it's critically important, and I say to whether you're professional, but if someone is calling you, crying out, reaching out, please reciprocate, return the call, or reach out your hand of assistance to them, because you could be saving someone from devastation.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
The search is on tonight for 2 men wanted in connection with burglary and armed robbery. Police reports say that shortly before 1 o'clock this morning, a man wearing a black hooded jacket and armed with a knife entered a home in the Jonestown 8 Mile Rock area. The culprit was reportedly assisted by another man, and they made off with a cell phone valued at $700. Investigations are continuing. The Grand Lucayan Resort teaming up with the U.S. Embassy and the Secret Service to put on a currency, counterfeit, and credit card fraud detection seminar today. The workshop providing some helpful information on how to protect yourself from becoming a victim of fraud. Security Director Henry Williams says the information is beneficial to all departments throughout the hotel as well as the business community in general.
The amount of related crimes that we've been having, such as counterfeit fraud, U.S. currency, and I'm also told local currency as well. We felt it was very necessary to ensure that our cashiers, food and beverage cashiers, front desk agents, and other persons who deal with cash in the company be made aware.
Today's seminar wasn't limited to the host hotel, but banks and other major companies were invited to be a part of the informational session.
From time to time, like in everything else, there will be cases where people attempt to try and fool the system by, providing counterfeit, but it all goes back to being adequately prepared and well trained, and once the persons who are required to investigate such matters have got the right knowledge and know how to identify and counterattack, if you will, and then things move smoothly.
Grand Bahama affirming its participation in the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival next May. A contingency from Grand Bahama, including representatives from the Ministry of Tourism, Grand Bahama Island Tourism Board, and Immerse Bahamas, recently met with the Bahamas National Festival Commission in New Providence to discuss the cultural festival scheduled for May 7th through 9th, 2015. Mega events are proposed for Grand Bahama for the weekend of April 17th through 18th, with other activities leading up to the main events in Nassau in May. Following the visit to Nassau, Junkanoo leaders Percy Vola Francis and Quentin Barabbas Woodside traveled to Grand Bahama to present prototypes of carnival costumes to an audience of Junkanoo leaders, local artisans, makeup artists, and interested persons. The vibrant costumes were worn by models from Grand Bahama, and the designs presented depicted the azure blue waters of the Bahamas, a sunshine goddess, and an indigenous Bahamian male called the Lucayan Prince. Costume instructors Percy Vola Francis and Quentin Barabbas Woodside emphasized the difference between materials used to produce Junkanoo costumes and carnival costumes. The Bahamas National Festival Commission plans to host a week-long workshop on costume design and construction here in Grand Bahama to introduce the methodology in costume making and use of local materials. A recent Road Fever Costume Expo held at the Malaya Resort in Nassau showcased the costume designs of more than 25 Road Fever companies that have already registered for the 2015 Carnival. Stay with us, there's more news after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. There will be no need for school board election on Grand Bahama come October 28th. At some public schools in the district, only the required number of candidates nominated, and at others, less than the required amount offered to serve, and hence the remaining members of the board will have to be appointed. A full complement nominated at Bartlett Hill Primary, Martintown Primary, Freeport Primary, Hugh Campbell, and Morrismore Primary schools. The situation was a bit different at other schools. At 8 Mile Rock High, 3 people opted to serve. A total of 9 is required. At Jack Hayward Jr., only 2 of 9 candidates nominated. At Jack Hayward Senior School, 5 people nominated, and the remaining 4 will be appointed. Over at St. George's, 4 of the 9 candidates required filed nomination papers. At the Sister Mary Patricia Russell Jr. School, 2 of the 9 board members will have to be appointed. At the Walter Parker Primary School, the board is 1 member shy of its full complement of a 9-member team. At the Lewis Yard Primary School, 3 of the 5 members needed nominated yesterday. While Area Vice President for the Bahamas Union of Teachers on Grand Bahama, Quinton Laroda, says school boards are still relevant today. He says while there is an issue with inadequate funding, they play an important role in the maintenance of schools.
The schools are better now prepared than years ago, because I remember when I first came to Grand Bahama, every year when school opened there would be some massive issues with school being unready, and I think that has improved, particularly since 2008 when all of the stuff with 8 Mile Rock took place. Since then there's been improvement, but it's not exactly where it should be, and I think ongoing maintenance program work through the school boards, I think would help to mitigate against a lot of the issues related to that. Any system, any committee, any group where local people get to decide what happens to their community, I'm always inclined to support it.
Students from a number of schools in the district joining hands with the Ministry of Tourism to promote a clean environment. The students teaming up for a coastal cleanup campaign that took them to several beaches on Grand Bahama. Joan Davis-Roll has that story.
Youngsters from various institutions on Grand Bahama taking part in this massive effort to protect the environment. This initiative focuses not only on collecting trash from the coastline, but recording what is collected to identify the source of the trash. Senior Manager of Sustainable Tourism, Andre Cartwright.
You would find that they would pick up, there's a lot of common items that you would find, like plastic bottles and things like that, but you can also find things like, you find things like car tires, you find couches, you find clothing. It gets pretty ridiculous, the things that you find on the beach. And on Grand Bahama specifically, I know that you will find some strange things. Like people use the beach as a public dump site in many cases, which is very sad. You can find garbages. Not garbages. You can find microwaves, TVs, like appliances. People just dump them on the beach. I would say is that people seem to not make the connection between between tourism or the economic value of, or the economic detriment of pollution, of throwing out trash. And so they'll cry about, oh, tourism isn't doing this, or we need more people to come to the island and this, that, and the next thing. But they're not taking care of the island. They're not taking care of the product to make people interested in coming.
Youngsters say the initiative is a good one and their way of protecting the coastal and marine life.
It's a good thing to do because, a lot of tourists is coming out and they are bragging about our beautiful our beaches. I guess we should keep it clean.
We need to make sure the tourists are as comfortable as they could be. And when you hear of the Bahamas from any tourist point of view, you always think about beautiful beaches and a nice tropical weather.
Tourism is the main industry, so clean up the beaches, made the tourists tell their friends, oh, well, the Bahamas, beautiful beaches, you should come. So yeah, I really liked it.
Last year, during the International Coastal Cleanup Day, volunteers collected more than 12 million pounds of trash in countries around the world. Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
The coastal community of McLeanstown will be the center of attraction this holiday Monday, National Heroes Day. For the past 42 years during the October holiday, Bahamians and visitors have been heading east for the traditional conch cracking contest. Chairman of the Conch Cracking Committee, Kendall Lethan, says the event, set for the grounds of the East End Junior High School, will be a big cultural show.
They can expect a day of fun. We have kayaking, we have egg the conch flitters race, we have the main conch cracking event. Also, we have plotting on the maypole, we have live entertainment. So it's going to be a full family day. Tourists can expect to sample some of the Bahamian native dishes, the conch salad, the conch and rice, the cracked conch, conch flitters. We're going to try out all the conch dishes that we can have.
This year, the Conch Cracking Festival will include an art exhibition in the Youth Center in McLeanstown. Committee member H. Rudy Sawyer says even though the activities of the day are sure to be enjoyable for all, the main event, the Indigenous Bahamian Conch Cracking, he notes, is the event to keep an eye out for.
What it is, it's really getting Bahamians particularly who go around bragging about this one big feature, our conch, and see who's the best conch cracker. We will also have categories for the tourists. Some of them, for the first time, will put their hand on that slimy conch, and we'll go through a competition, teach them how to do it, let them have the experience, the real, true Bahamian experience.
Next year, the committee plans to extend an invitation to other islands. In other news, almost 1 month ago, we brought you the story of baby Heaven McPhee. The little girl who has a life-threatening illness is in desperate need of help. Little Heaven, who was born on July 3rd, is suffering from heart failure, and doctors have stated that the infant needs to undergo surgery, but that procedure could cost up to $500,000. Since then, the family of Little Heaven has been reaching out for public support, and they struggle to keep her alive. The child's mother, Carrie Stubbs, and grandmother, Sophie Smith, say they are organizing a family fun day for this coming Saturday. It is a fundraising effort by family and friends to keep Little Heaven alive.
Since I first made the appeal, the response from the public has been, I would say, fair, with persons just giving words of encouragement and letting me know that they are praying for her. But as far as donations and funds, it's very slow still, trickling in. I've had about $2,500 in cash donations so far. As far as the cookout is concerned, I've reached out to the public asking for assistance and donations for the items needed to assist in the cookout. So far, that's been coming along.
Tell your friends about it. It's not only to save my grandbaby, because we're going to donate the monies to the Saskatchewan Foundation, the Heart Foundation, and it will go towards helping other kids as well.
The Family Fun Day is set for the old Winn-Dixie parking lot downtown Freeport on Saturday. Don't go away. Sports is up next with Ricardo Lighborn.
Hey everybody, it's Sports. I'm Ricardo Lighborn. This one goes out to the folks over there in Grand Key, Abaco, getting ready for the Lobster Festival that'll actually start tomorrow. The Jigger says anything goes. Well, the Grand Bahama Girls Development Soccer League is a must for Saturday at the Freeport Rugby Club. Let me tell you that it is a wonderful event, and for girls, it's fantastic. The Grand Bahama Girls Development Soccer Program is underway at the Freeport Rugby Club, and what a response to the league this year. Parents took up their places, you got it, in the shade, no doubt. Mary Knoll says the number has gone through the roof, and it's still growing.
Before opening day, we had 297. So today, I know they registered a bunch more. We're out of space. We're over at the Y, and We need space. The kids play on very small fields as it is, but we're trying our best. But when the coach from NSCAA was here, he was saying that the interest drops off as they get older. We're not finding that. We have 60 kids, 12, 13, and 14. We have over 60. We have like 67, and the same in the 15, 16, and 17-year-old league. So we're finding that we're getting more.
The real hot shots of the program is the Pee Wee division and the beginners. On Saturday afternoon, outdoors and playing soccer goes a long way for the development side of the game. The intent is to also develop the senior girls, and that program will assist in their development.
This year we're calling it a women's league, but it's only 2 elite women playing with our best girls from this league. We play a draft system, so we have kids all different levels playing on one team. Now we want to up the ante and let those girls that are good play on a team with other good players. So we have some good sponsors coming on board.
As for the coaches, Mary says they have them running to assist, and it is much appreciated. This little guy wanted to play soccer, only girls, little bro. His mom has put him in the YMCA League. The program is every Saturday, 2 p.m. at the Freeport Rugby Club field. Yep, girls soccer rule. Agree with those girls. Let's go to high school volleyball play in the Oriole Nose was in the Nesbitt League. Egmont Rock Junior Boys defeating Jackie with 16-21, 21-17, and 17-15. Tabernacle over Sister Mary Patricia Russell, 22-20, 21-19. Tabernacle Senior Boys putting away St. George's 16-21, 21-16, and 15-13. Sunland over Mary Star, 23-15, 21-12, and 15-13. Jackie would get in by Egmont Rock, 21-3, and 21-13. Also, primary school, Goon Culmer, Keith Mullings Basketball League. Here we go. Mary Star over Freeport Primary, 12-5. Maurice Moore, Nip, BMES 11-10. Tabernacle 14, Lewis Yard 3. Martintown over West End 26-4. Walter Parker holding off East Grand Bahama 18-6. Holmes Rock defeating Bartlett Hill 14-4. Those kids all having some fun. Now, the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association's Fast Pitch Championship rolling right along, folks. Let's go to the Plex and see exactly how it went. The Candies Wolverines entered Game 3 of the series with the Portside Flyers and a game plan, and that is take it right to the Flyers. Tied at 1 game, the Wolverines showed that they were the pennant winners and turned up the heat in the game. Tara Evans posted 2 for 3 at Perrin. Sade Moss and Tashina Pinder both 1 for 4 and the early lead in the ball game. Saleka Williams got the ball and needed her defense to rally to the occasion and hold firm. The Portside Flyers felt the momentum that was in their favor, and the good bats kept this one close for a while. The Flyers, Kia Dames, Alvarine Hall, Larissa Lockhart, Saunders, all 1 for 3 at the plate. But not enough. The Candies Wolverines took Game 3 6-3 and a 2-1 lead in the series. In the men's series, Control Chemical Sweepers broke the duck egg against the Pats uniform Reds with some inconsistent play between the lines. Quinton Cooper had a few that got away, but the Sweepers had enough punch to win it 11-10. Ken Storr was tagged with the loss, but the Reds sit on a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series. Game 4 for both of these series tonight at the Plex. And just a reminder, the Abaco Open Water Swim is this coming Saturday, 9 o'clock over there by the ferry dock. Should be a pretty good event. Register early and go swim and have some fun. That's a look at your sports tonight.